Good morning. My name is Chris Fox, and welcome to the Magitech Chronicles. The campaign that you're about to see takes place in the Magitech Chronicles pen and paper role playing game. This is our regular edition. This is our special edition. As you can tell, I'm super excited. We kickstarted the game last year and have been playing it ever since. And what we're getting is a lot of fans asking, what does this game look like? What does it feel like to play the Magitech Chronicles? And so now we've got an online campaign. Every Friday, you're going to see an episode pop up. It's going to be, roughly an hour long. Give you some of the adventures that we're running in this universe. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. If you have questions about the format, we're running with two GMs. Let me know. You can ask that in the comments, and hopefully you guys have a lot of fun.
All right, so I'm going to go over a little bit of current events that are going on in the sector. Entertainment-wise, the biggest thing right now that is trending on Seizure is a lightning primal, which is very rare. You guys don't see a lot of those, by the name of Anzu, who is doing all sorts of music videos and has a reality television show. And there are all sorts of clips, like anytime you go to the equivalent of YouTube, of everything that he's doing. So there's Anzu, 5 minutes with Anzu doing this, 5 minutes of Anzu doing that. Like there's endless videos out there. He seems to be everywhere at once. He's the most popular thing. And you get the sense they're trying to push bread in circuses because they don't have any bread. It's more circuses. They're trying to mollify the sector and make it okay. And they can't. There's just not enough food to go around. So there's a lot of fear, but there's also a bit of a military crackdown on the media. So the common rank and file people are aware that the Confederacy seems to be smothering a lot of the negative information around what's happening. And so there's a feeling amongst you guys, especially here at the Rock, that there's things they're not telling you, that the Confederacy can't be trusted. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at the beginning. You're all aware of the recent events of the war against Nefarious and the aftermath of that. So those of you that have read the main series of books, all that stuff has happened. Other details. Because you guys are local, you're aware that the Confederate force in the area, the largest ship is called the Scarborough. It is a Confederate battleship. It patrols regularly through this area. It's larger and stronger than any ship that docks at the Rock normally, so people try to avoid it. It's the law, basically. And so if it's around, you guys are definitely minding your P's and Q's. Each of you is in the inn. Trevor's already discussed with you where you're at and sort of how you got there. When Gaston is arriving with a load of apples, Lasse, you are standing at the bar, I believe, and Edwina, you are serving drinks. And as Gaston is passing into the bar, you guys hear loudspeakers which overpower all sound, and Beetle comes on. And everybody knows Beetle's voice. Beetle is the unofficial mayor of the Rock, although you guys don't actually have a mayor. We had a sighting. Looks like the Scarborough is about to dock, and she's not alone. She's brought a half dozen ships with her. This is some sort of impound. Get to your ship if you can. They're not going to let us leave, but hide what you can. They're going to come in, do some sort of search and seizure. Get it away, get it hidden. Make sure they don't see what you got. Let's hope this is a light touch, whatever they're going to do. Just try and play nice, and let's hope that they leave us in peace. And then the crackling dies away, and you guys are left standing there. Gaston, you're just walking in the front door of the inn.
Not sure. Gaston would just sort of be looking around right now at this point because he knows he's looking for Roxy. So at this point, he's
Okay, give
just
me a
stepped in.
perception check.
Okay.
Likewise, Roxy. And Robert, you're at the bar. Perception check as well. So we'll see if you're aware. or if you're dealing with what you just heard over the loudspeaker.
Oh.
So Gaston's just a deer in headlights standing in the front door, like, what is going on? Robert is probably yelling over his shoulder to somebody in the kitchen and hasn't noticed that he arrived.
Roxy, take the bar. I have to go hide some stuff.
To take the bar, like man the bar. I have to man the
Yeah,
bar.
you can do it.
Okay, I got this. I got it. Square shoulders.
I move to a hatch somewhere and open it and leave the bar.
So you're dealing with contraband. And Bill, what are you doing?
I am going to retrieve my sword from above the bar and make sure it's strapped to my person.
Okay, so
that would be behind the bar. Yeah.
So you're retrieving your weapon, and you've got this obnoxiously large sword over your shoulder now, which is clear to every patron in the bar.
Yes.
Has anybody ever seen you use this?
Lassay's character has. I don't think anybody else would have seen me use it in the bar, because I've also got like a bat of some kind behind the bar for dealing with drunks and so on.
Some odd looks from patrons, because they thought it was just for show, and they're like, I thought he would get his bat, but he's holding that sword. Roxy, you see your brother come in with the apples, and you also see behind him, it looks like some Confederate troops lurking outside of the inn. Looks like they're about to enter, and they're walking up to his apples. So he's got a cart. There's a cart directly behind him. The troops are sort of moving to encircle him and the apples.
Roxy would try to get Bill's attention because she's behind the bar. He's strapping on the sword. Hey, Bill, that's my brother. Why are the Confederates? Look at them. Looks like they're gonna take the apples, or his cargo. Or is he bringing you apples?
He's supposed to be. Okay, so Bill at that point is going to go and walk over to the guy with the apples, and I'm assuming they're in a crate. Are they visible, the apples, or are they in a sealed crate of some kind?
They'd be in a crate. They would be marked. I think they'd be marked clearly, though, that they're apples. He's also got a bag that he's carrying with him that is definitely clearly marked that it's apples. I mean, you can kind of see through it, like a bag. It's kind of plasticky, and you can see they're apples, obviously.
Bill, make a reason check for me, please. Okay, that'll do it. If the Scarborough is just arriving, which you just heard over the loudspeaker from Beetle, and it has an escort, but the troops are already here, then there must be some other way that Confederate troops have gotten onto the rock, and this seems a lot more like some sort of trap. So it's not a routine sweep where they're going to show up and shake you guys down. Like, they're coming with more force and more intent than they usually would. So this strikes you as not a very typical situation, and your back is up. You're worried.
Okay, I'm going to send a message to Beetle and say there are already Confederate troops outside inside of trading. I don't see how they got here quite so quickly if they would, they haven't just disembarked from the ship. I'm also going to try and get my apples and get them stowed away, if at all possible. So that'll be the next thing I'm doing as I'm...
So you're walking over, and as you're walking over, you send this text to Beetle, and you get an almost immediate response from him that says, stall them if you can. We'll do what we can to get you help. And then you're walking up to the Confederate. Looks like their commander is the one that is identified on the map there as Corporal Blight. Trevor, you want to describe Blight for them?
Corporal Blight. Hold on a sec, guys. I don't seem to have the show to players option on this.
So I think as Gaston gets surrounded, he'd be like looking at these guys, kind of, what's going on here? Maybe getting a little nervous and tense because, poor guy, he's just new here, walked in with a bunch of apples.
Yeah, like your character's probably got the sense that you broke like a local station law or customs or something.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what he's feeling, like, oh man, what did I do wrong? I just got these guys like surrounding me with weapons. Okay.
Okay, all right, great. So Corporal Blight is a typical Confederate soldier wearing typical Confederate armor. However, he is wearing a spell pistol, indicating that he's got some sort of magical skill. And he's got just a mean, nasty, cruel look on his face. This guy does not look friendly. You there, apples. Hand them over, he says to you, Gaston.
Gaston look at him and say, sorry, I can't do that. These are for this inn here. I'm delivering them specifically for here. Sorry.
Oh, well, that's actually a perfect coincidence. We are here to claim anything belonging to this inn.
I'm sorry. Whose authority are you operating with? I
This is
say
on
as I walk
authority of the
forward.
Confederacy.
Right. Have you got a warrant?
A warrant? We're the Confederacy. We don't need a warrant.
No, you see, you do that. That's how the law works. You have to have a warrant in order to enter my premises and demand anything. And you're military, aren't you? Aren't you military? Are you a policeman?
You notice Blight kind of, stop what he was doing, kind of stop and focus in on you, and he goes striding up to you, Bill.
At the same time, you see somebody that you all recognize stand up from one of the seats. He's a regular, stands at 6'3", very tall gentleman, absolutely ripped. He's got a 5 strength and is one of the more feared captains on this station. He has frequented it for a long time, Captain Redshirt. And Captain Redshirt goes striding up to Blight as he's accosting Bill and says, "You don't want to do that."
Blight stops accosting Bill and focuses his attention on Redshirt. Excuse me.
Man serves our drinks. You're saying you're here to take our drinks? You ain't got no warrant, not following the law? What makes you think we're going to put up with that?
Blight pauses for a moment, and you see him considering as if he's figuring out what he's going to say. And then he rips his spell pistol from his holster, sticks it under Redshirt's chin, and vaporizes his head with a void bolt. All the Marines rack their rounds into their rifle.
All right, so Bill, you are well aware what's happening here, and you understand that this is bigger than just this Marine. And even if you kill these guys, the other ships are landing. It's not a good situation, but resistance is probably going to be a bad idea.
I'm going to put my hands up then and say, can we calm this down a bit, please?
Yes, I think calm is in order, Blight says very casually as he looks at the headless corpse on the floor and grins.
None of the other patrons are reacting much. They're looking at their drinks. They're keeping to themselves. They're definitely not giving any sort of resistance. And if you're not making any moves to stop them, some of the Marines are heading to the counter and heading back into the kitchen.
Roxy's gonna duck in front of him and get into the kitchen when that guy's head came off to tell, where's the door? Here.
Right there.
That's the door.
Yeah.
To yell into the kitchen where Bobbins is, hey, they killed a guy out here
Wait, what?
with a gun. They just killed him for apples.
Wait, who killed who?
Captain Asshole, who just came in.
I'm stuffing crates of something that looks like burger patties into a garbage.
Give me a larceny check, please. DT2.
Of course.
For Robert, for
That's for Robert, yeah. So to hide his foodstuffs. These could be the last real burgers on the station.
Yeah, exactly.
Finest vent rats.
Whoa!
Oh, you rolled linguistics, not larceny.
You are able to speak to the burgers, but they can't speak back. Oh, wow. Okay. So you successfully hide all of your food. They have no idea that it's here. It looks like you were maybe just waiting for supplies to arrive when in fact you just received supplies. So you have, why don't we say, 7 days of full food hidden.
Oh.
And that'll be important. That'll be very important in the days to come. These guys come in, they start fanning out. We'll have them make a perception check. I'm just going to do one for all 3 of them. Give them, 6 dice is average.
I'm pretty sure we've just gained about 170 pounds of high quality protein too.
As they walk around, I size up the Marines. What they disciplined.
Terribly. Their discipline's not the worst you've seen, but it's far from the best. Their gear is okay. They don't have a tremendous amount of experience. You would guess they're fairly green. They can fight, they're a threat, but like these are not what made the Marines famous, that's for sure. So yeah, the Marines aren't able to find the foodstuffs. They search around, they go through everything, they take what they can, whatever you left out for them to find. So tonight's rations, basically, they're grabbing any food that hasn't been cooked up yet, and they're putting it into bags and boxes and carrying it back out, unless you are stopping them.
And your condiments. They take all your ketchup and pickles and stuff.
Not the mayo.
Yep, the mayo, the relish, like all of it.
Can
Come on,
Roxy like try to negotiate with them as they're like pilfering stuff, like kind of get in the way? You know, hey, how about come on guys, how about like talking really fast, trying to distract them.
Okay, I'll make a coercion or a negotiation check, either one.
And Gaston's going to be moving closer to the apples, man. He's got the only thing he's here for at this point, besides, in fact, hasn't seen Roxy yet.
Okay. They're, the remaining Marines are all clustered around your apples. That's like the biggest part of the hall. Oh, you're successful. Okay, so Roxy, you're talking to one of the Marines over by you, and he sees a bunch of like condiments and food on this table, and he turns towards his friends and says, "I got everything over here," and he just leaves it there and doesn't take it. Like you clearly see he's leaving it behind. He's supposed to gather it, but he's kind of, pretending he doesn't see it.
Oh, nice.
I nod approvingly at Roxy.
And they're heading back over to the door with their haul. So most of them are standing proudly around Gaston's apples. It's not the first time that Gaston's apples have been admired today.
Definitely not. He's feeling very protective of his apples right now, too. He's like, man, these are from my family farm. I'm not giving them up easily.
If they want the apples, let them take them. They don't know how to make cider, so they're going to taste pretty bad, but they're technically edible.
Blight finishes watching his men gather up everything, and he glares at you, Bill, attempting to intimidate you, and begins a turn, looks at his men, nods once he's seen that they've secured the crates of the apples, and walks over to you, Gaston, reaches out, and takes the bag of apples from your hand.
Okay. How
And then he
forcefully
pats-
does he take them over from?
Oh, just he reaches out, just grabs a hold of them, and pulls them from your hand.
Okay.
Do you resist or do you give in?
I think Gaston would resist a little bit,
Okay.
but not enough to cause a fuss. You'd let him go.
All right, let's do opposed strength real quick. You try to resist, but he wrenches them out of your hand. And then he gives you a wicked smile and pats you on the shoulder.
I glare at him from the bar. Light.
You know what? He feels you glaring at him and turns and looks at you. Blight is the guy that got you dishonorably discharged.
Oh.
He spots you, he sees you, he recognizes you, you see it pass across his face, and he smiles and winks at you. And then turns and motions for his men to start carrying the apples out.
My cybernetic hand breaks something in the bar. Probably a slice of the bar table or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Do I know Corporal Blight then, or do I not know the full details of?
You don't know the details. You probably will recognize the name.
So Blight leaves. You guys are all kind of left stunned, watching it occur. Robert, you're pissed. You're shocked. You recognize him. You know he's part of the Confederacy. You're not surprised that he's part of the more militaristic arm that has a lot less morals, and that he's not following the rules and doing things like, using a writ for search and seizure. So that's what they would have had to get as a document, and they didn't have one. If it had been your unit, you would have made sure you had a writ, because it's not a hard thing for you to do. Like, he could have followed the rules. He just chose not to because it was easier. Like, it's the lack of discipline probably that drives you nuts. Anyway, he leaves. You guys are left standing there fuming for probably 60 seconds. And then another captain pokes his head in the doorway. This is one that most people probably recognize. If you have the history skill, please feel free to roll it. And if nobody does, that's fine.
Oh yeah, she's got lots of history.
So you see a tall man poke his head in, look around, make sure Blight has already left. You can hear in the distance more Confederate troops are hitting the market. Other shops are going through exactly what your inn is, where people are basically having their stuff taken. Vane comes in, closes the door behind him, looks around at you, and he looks immediately for Robert, since obviously, Robert, you're the proprietor. Says, did anybody get killed?
Red shirt. I nod over to red shirt.
Red shirt? No one could have predicted that. I'll get word back to Beetle. Batten down as best you can. We're going to be calling a council of the captains in the morning. Discuss what's happened here.
This will not stand. What is his crew gonna do?
I don't know. There's got to be an answer for this. We can't let it go without answer.
Does anybody know if Red Shirt had next of kin?
As you look around the inn, nobody is stepping up to speak for Red Shirt. Not even the person who was sitting with him.
Crew will be here.
Right. Well, I will organise, getting the body in some kind of equivalent of a body bag, whatever I've got access to, in a respectful manner, not in a I'm going to throw him out into space manner or anything like that.
God, it's a rough and tumble place, but outright murder is pretty rare. So you probably have a sheet or something you could use to cover the body in a respectful manner. You manage to get it back into maybe the freezer where you can kind of keep it out of the way while patrons are finishing their drinks and trying to just make sense of what happened. A lot of people are leaving the inn. Lots of patrons are disappearing, heading back to their ships and stuff. So within a few minutes, most people have cleared out.
I'll make sure to handle the mopping up myself, and then my next thing I'll be doing if I've got time is to go to the security footage, copy it, and send it to Beetle.
Got it. You get a thank you reply immediately, and he says that he'll make sure that it gets to the Confederacy. He's seeing what Lady Voria can do. He's got a message into a friend of his named Pickus, and is seeing if they can get some answer about what's happening, but he hasn't heard back yet. So you guys are left standing in the bar and can do whatever you'd like at this point. You're shocked, angry, but still, I mean, it is a bit of a reunion. Gaston, you are seeing your sister for the first time. So the four of you plus the servers are pretty much all who are left in the bar at this point.
I'd like to gather up the staff and tell them that if they want protection on the ship, they are free to use the crew quarters and move in. We take care of our own.
Everybody wants to take you up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Gaston, despite looking a little bit dejected and disappointed that all the apples have disappeared, now that he spots Edwina, he all of a sudden brightens up, this huge smile on his face. He his golden hair almost shines, and he's like, I found you! This is where you've been hiding!
Edwina is like super happy to see Gaston. She comes booking over, gives him a giant hug. What are you doing here? I mean, you're not delivering apples for Sis, are you?
I had some before that guy took them away, but no, I'm here for you. I came looking for you because you're in trouble, and Tromze told me I need to protect you.
You're such a goof. I'm fine. I mean, sure, this looks bad. Clearly, this is not a great situation.
Yeah, I guess I was like looking around like, no, you're not fine. After what just happened, it just proves that you need me here to protect you and keep you safe.
She'll give him another hug. You need to message Mom and Dad and Gert and let them know what they did to the shipment, and then let me introduce you around to everyone. My new boss. I'm working here now. Isn't this awesome? Look, I even have a uniform, and she shows off her apron. Isn't this great? Aside from, of course, dead.
Gaston would have to send a message back real quickly on his comm unit to let him know what's happened. But he would also kind of look around and said, no, this is not great. We need to get you home. Ed. This is not right.
Stop calling me Ed. It's Roxy now.
Gaston rolls eyes. Oh my gosh, Ed. Stop with the Roxy thing. You just need to just come home and get married. What you're supposed to do for the family, and it'll be okay. And don't forget Epi. Epi's really worried about you.
You told Epi that you were coming here?
No, Epi knew before I did I was coming here. Epi seemed, I don't know. He must be talking to Tromze too, because he knew it before I did.
This is just the worst. I'm not coming home. I mean, I would be happy eventually to come home and settle down and all that, but I've tried. So just come here, let me introduce you to my boss, my manager, Sisse. She's awesome, by the way. Oh my gosh, she's such a hard worker. So just try to make her like, you know, I'm trying to soften her up a little bit. She's very hard worker and she's always super stressed out.
Go ahead and introduce me to your friends, and let's just make sure that everything's okay.
So, Robert, you finished talking to your employees. They're kind of filing away and they're heading off to your ship or back to their own quarters, the ones that wanted to stay there. And Gaston and Roxy are walking up.
Roxy's kind of dragging Gaston by his wrist. This is my brother. This is my twin brother, Gaston. Gaston, this is Mr. Bobbins, and he's the cook, and this is Bill. I've talked about him. He helped me with my projects, but he owns Insider Trading, and he's been kind enough to let me work here to make some extra money.
Nice to meet you, Gaston.
Hello, nice to meet you too, Bill and Mr. Bobbins.
I put out a hand to shake yours.
He puts out his giant hand, and yeah.
You are, of course, more than welcome to stay on my ship if you need a bunk. I have a crew quarters, more than enough room.
Guess I would nod and say, appreciate that, thank you. Hopefully we won't have to be here very long. We might be able to catch the ship back home if it's still around.
Looks like the Confederates are here to stay, but we will know more later. They don't move in with that kind of force without planning something big.
So as you guys are talking, you do see more happening outside of the inn. The Confederates complete their sweep. They're picking up all of the foodstuffs and all the alcohol. It looks like almost everybody got hits. 80% plus of the food that was on the station is taken. If there are orchards, like you've got an apple tree in the back of your restaurant, they pluck all the apples. That's if they're being nice. In some cases, they take the tree as well. So everybody is very, very upset as things are taken, but nobody else comes and hassles the bar. So you guys have the rest of the evening to do what you want. The word that you're hearing is that the Council of the Captains is going to be held first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay. So I'm going to suggest to to all the staff and so on that we wait until there are definitely no Confederates around, and then discreetly cook and eat some of the food, and make sure that we're trying to ration what we've got.
Give me a larceny check, and this is just to cover the smell of the cooking.
Bill, you recognize this chain instantly. It is the TGI Fridays of Magitech, and it looks like they just opened here on Drifter's Rock.
So this is playing on the wall. Maybe you've got a TV screen going, or a holo screen rather.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing an announcement that they're opening and the chain has just moved into the rock.
And suddenly they've got enough food to sell.
Well, they're opening tomorrow, apparently.
Is that what they think? No, their food is absolutely terrible, and their business practices are terrible, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be using stolen food as well. I bet they didn't bring a load with them. I'm pretty sure that corporal just went and just stole food for them to serve. So, I mean,
and
by all means,
either Robert or Bill, can we get a larceny check? Whoever is handling the cooking.
Robert,
Oh, that's what you mean then.
I think you're actually good at larceny, aren't you? Because I am not.
One success is enough, so just DT one. But otherwise, they're going to smell the burgers you're cooking.
Guys, I was going to speak up to Bill. Hey, if eating food's a problem, just show me where the wildlife is around here. I'll hunt us something. I'm an excellent hunter. Got no problem hunting down food if we need it.
Well, there's probably rats, but might be a week or two before anybody wants to eat them.
I guess Don would make a kind of a nasty look and be like, "Yeah, I've had enough killing rats." So,
look, everybody knows that when you go to a pub and are looking for work, the first job you're going to get given is, "Please, can you kill some of the local rats?" It's traditional.
You offer me a job?
can you catch live rats? And I don't know, deliver them to one of my favorite pubs for me?
Right, that's not a problem. That'd be easy enough.
I'll have a think about it and go and check out their new business because they'll need some meat, and I'm not sure they've been able to steal any. So
As the day passes, is there anything else out of character you guys are going to do, or are you just going to settle in for the night and wait for the meeting the following morning, or?
are they sort of enforcing any kind of curfew, or
They are not. What you quickly realize is the Confederates have all retreated back to their ships, but they are still surrounding the rock, at least for that night. So people are very much minding their own business. But sometime before dawn the following morning at like 4 a.m., the Confederate forces depart. And so you guys are left to your own. And the council's supposed to take place at about 8 a.m.
I want to sort of do a little round robin message group or something with the other pub owners who are legit, and anybody else who's sort of in our business that we know.
You probably already have like a chain going,
yeah,
because you guys talk on a regular basis whenever some new concern comes up.
Drifters Rock. Go ahead and pop up under NPCs. Drifters Rock. Lacey Urvesh. Bill knows her specifically. She's probably your biggest competitor, Bill, but also probably your closest friend amongst the various pub proprietors, because she is right across the way from you.
Yeah, I imagine Bill looks up to her as well.
Yes, indeed.
Happily, probably. Yeah, so I'll message her and anybody else who's in the group and ask them what they think about this new pub that serves weird cocktails.
Lacey comes on the line and goes, "Oh God, not those donkey bollocks bastards," she says very angrily. You can tell that she feels pretty much the same way about this chain as you do.
Sentiment is echoed among all the other people on the chain. Nobody likes them at all. Nobody wants them here. I mean, you guys are all indies basically, and this is Trad Pub moving in.
Does anybody know? I mean, I'm guessing it might be a franchise operation. Nobody's gone to the dark side, have they?
No, this sprung up overnight in an empty location, so it wasn't like somebody converted their business to it.
And there's no building permits on the rock, but it's still like there's good form to go talk to Beetle and sort of grease the wheels if you're going to open a place, and none of that happened apparently.
Okay, I suppose we'll just have to live with it because it would be terrible if anything happened that meant that location wasn't going to be operable. So.
That would indeed be a horrible thing.
Yeah.
So Roxy's going to talk to the other servers, especially Mabs, because Mabs has been around for a while, and try to get more information about, like, is this normal? Does this happen all the time? Do you know any of those people? Kind of see what she has for information, because she's
Mabs looks at Roxy and goes, "Oh, honey, you just don't know. These people can just kiss my grits." And she basically,
too, Mabs.
She basically, you get the impression from her that the Confederacy doing this is the new thing. You get the impression from her that the business showing up overnight is kind of unusual. Yeah, these are definitely not, according to her, normal times.
Is that place open now?
No, it opens tomorrow.
Councils of the captain are really rare, so like once a decade maybe, and all of you are aware of that. Anybody who's been to the Rock, like that's a very serious thing. It takes a lot to get the council to gather, just to get all the captains to show up in one place.
And does Mabs know if Captain Redshirt had a crew?
Captain Redshirt did have a crew. In fact, at one point that evening, they do send a representative to show up, and Bill, you recognize them, so you know it's his crew, and they're hoping to get possession of his body.
Yeah, I mean, if they show up, I'll obviously give them the body. Yeah, that's and give them my commiserations as well.
Yeah, and they appreciate it. They're very grateful that you treated it with care and you were respectful. And they take their fallen captain back to the ship. His shirt now is red, by the way. It was white originally, but after they vaporized his head, the blood took care of that.
I'm gonna say to the others, look, I'm gonna go and try and clear my head with a bit of walk. Go and see what's up with this catalyst place that's opening up, because they have a reputation for dirty play, and and I want to make sure nothing bad happens.
Anybody going with him, or are you leaving on your own?
I suggest that someone goes with him. I'm looking at the big muscly guy
Bartender.
with a.
Yeah.
Gaston would be following Ed around, Roxy around, because obviously, he just reconnected with his sister. So
Ed would be like, Gaston, maybe you and Bill, you can help Bill out. Bill's gonna go and look at this new restaurant chain. Maybe you could go with him and help him.
okay, I like the catalyst, so I'd be willing to check this place out. This'd be cool to see what they're gonna do.
So the two of you, let's say late that evening, head over to the site where the restaurant's going to open. It's not very far away. It's like half a block from the entrance of your restaurant. So it's like a 5-minute walk to get over there and look. What are you going to do when you arrive? You see that it looks like the construction's been completed. Restaurant's ready to open. All the tables and chairs are set up inside. Their work's done. They're ready to rock. They've got a kitchen in the back, which you assume is probably fully stocked.
Gaston will look to Bill because, he seems to be the one in charge. So
I am thinking that they've probably got a lot more food in there that mysteriously turned up at the same time that the Confederacy did. And I'm thinking it probably is food that doesn't belong to them. So I'm tempted.
would you like to sneak in and take a look?
You are aware that there's a security camera, so you'll have to get past that, but it's not terribly great security.
I want to look at the place, and does my comlink include like a camera or whatever?
It does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so anything
okay.
that your smartphone will do, your comm does.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I shall look at it and then walk on as if we're going somewhere else, but try and find somewhere where I can take some pictures and then go around the back as well. That sort of stuff. Try and take some pictures of it from all angles so I can work out what's going on and whether or not anybody's actually in the building.
Okay, give me an investigation check, please.
Oh, that should be easy. Zero investigation.
Gaston's going to pipe up, though, that, if you want to go inside, I could stealth us. I could make us invisible and try to sneak in.
Oh, my investigation check of 0. That's not so useful. I've got a load of out-of-focus pictures, or I get caught.
Well, the nice thing about 0 is all your pictures are in focus. It just means that you don't find anything. So you get security footage of the entire thing, but you don't see anything suspicious outside. If they've got anything that you'd be concerned about, it's inside, clearly.
Well, Gaston, I mean, we're soon going to be on very short rations in this station. If the Confederacy are going around stealing food, and I question that a major chain like the Catalyst would bother setting up a new restaurant overnight if they didn't have a supply of food, unless, of course, they are just as corrupt as everybody says they are, and they've got people like the Corporal to come and steal food from everybody else so that they can profiteer off this disastrous situation we're all in. Yeah, I'm very tempted to go and take a look inside and ultimately probably liberate the food and give it to the needy.
Okay, there's a back door. If you guys want to break in, that'd probably be the place to do it. There is a camera above the back door you want to disable first. And I'm not going to make you roll for this. Like, you could get up there with a baseball bat or anything that you have that would disable a camera and just break it. But getting into the door will require a larceny check or explosives.
You were saying the camera was not so great. Gaston was thinking, he likes to camouflage himself when he hunts. He could camouflage him and just walk right in. But
yeah, that would work. You are 100% positive you can create an illusion that, should fool this thing.
I tell you what, if you can do that, Gaston, and get us close to the camera, is it sort of, I don't know, at 10 foot or something like that?
And so, let's say 7 feet high, so you could almost reach it. And then as far as the door goes, his spell can make it appear that the door never opened.
Yeah, but you seem like a strong guy, Gaston, right?
Sure.
Could you lift me up just so I could just touch that camera after we're next to it?
He would grab you,
yeah,
by the back of your shirt with one hand, and he could start lifting you up like that.
That's fine. And then, Chris, what I want to do is use manifest water and just fill the thing with water. Which I'm
Okay, it
assuming
shorts
will-
out. It
will
shorts
break
out
it.
instantly. Yeah,
Yeah,
shorts out
okay,
instantly.
Yeah. Well,
And it
I
looks
think-
like it's a normal enough thing. Doesn't look like, you shot it or anything. So anybody looking at the camera can't see that it was sabotage.
Yes, yeah. I say fill it with water. I don't mean like overflowing. Just enough for it short.
Just enough to short it.
Yeah, great. Okay then, and then I'll get Gaston to put me back down.
Okay. How are you guys gonna get the door open?
Shirt.
You can break it easily enough, and I won't even make it roll to break it. But if you want to get in and get out without being caught, you'll need a larceny check, DT2.
Gaston
Okay.
doesn't have larceny at all, so
No,
could do it. But
I think Bill is just going to boot it really hard on the lock.
that would work with Gaston. Gaston would be happy to kick it in.
So
Well, no,
I guess
but-
Bill kicks it and it doesn't give, and then maybe Gaston kicks it and it does.
Well, Bill has 5 strength, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
so,
never mind. I take it
so-
back. Bill is really, really strong.
So it's just a surprise Gaston, who's probably not really expecting Bill, although he might have been thinking he weighs a lot more than I thought he would.
So this little drifter plants his foot against the door and goes, huh! And he kicks it in, and you're like, oh, I mean, that's really impressive. Like, it's like a 6-year-old kicking in an oak door.
Yeah, Gaston would look rather impressed. Nicely done.
Probably. Like, did he do? Why would he have done so much door kicking in his past?
If they have an alarm, which they may, that probably triggered it. But what that would do is whoever's monitoring the alarm is going to get a notification right now. And so they'll be aware that something's happening. It's going to take them probably several minutes to react or do anything. And their only immediate recourse is the camera you've already disabled. So you have a little bit of time to explore and look around, but you are kind of on a clock. As far as what they find inside, I'm turning you over to Trevor.
Excellent. Alrighty. So what you guys see is you see the interior of a incredibly formulaic restaurant. Everything is laid out exactly the same way in here as it is in every single other one of them. The kitchen is brand new. The back is very clean and organized and orderly. You see doors leading off into other rooms and one leading out into the front where the serving area, where the dining area is. Which location are you guys looking at first?
Gaston's going to let Bill take the lead on this.
I'm looking for food primarily, so I'm going to go to the kitchen, and I also want to know what they cook with, like for instance, electricity or gas.
Electricity, because it runs their Auto Chef 9000.
Their Auto Chef 9000. So
They
so
have
you're
a
saying-
food
expensive.
synthesizer, yes.
Oh wow. Okay. Do you feed that with some kind of like chicken paste or something? and then
Yes,
it
you
just-
do, in fact. And you look, and there is a walk-in refrigerator.
Okay, I'm going to open the walk-in refrigerator then and see if they've got anything that's actually edible in there.
So the shelves are jam-packed with boxes labeled ZM4.
I'm going to film some of this very,
Alright.
very quickly. Not extensively, but enough that you can see that the film definitely came from in here.
Sure.
I won't release it to anybody until I've edited it to make sure there's no like. Oh, I just zoom enhanced on the stainless steel fridge door, and I can see the perfectly good reflection of the two guys who did. Yeah.
All right, great.
I'll find some kind of bag, take a box, leave the refrigerator door. Yeah, I'm just going to slice the refrigerator door's hinges off with my spell sword.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think. I suspect this stuff doesn't go off even if it's not refrigerated, but whatever. I'm going to do my manifest water trick on the reconstitutor thing as well.
Okay.
Then go out the front and see if they've got any good booze.
Oh, they
Like-
have
like spirits.
no, but they have several kegs labeled lager.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Those are getting hold. No, actually, no. Hang on. I just remembered. I'm pretty sure lager kegs are actually pressurized, so I probably don't want to do that. I'll tap them very quickly, like properly, so they just start leaking. Not shove a spell sword in them and
Sure.
explode in my face.
Sure. Good.
And
So-
yeah, that's more or less it.
I think when Bill's doing this thing, Gaston had got to be looking around because, with all this talk, maybe his apples are around. So he's going to have to be looking for any of the apple crates that might be lying around.
You find no
there
sign
are no
of them.
apples.
Yep.
Gaston loves his apples.
I think that's enough petty vandalism for now, and I'll come back and completely destroy the place on another day. Yes, some frustration taken out, and we'll leave as quickly as possible after that.
All right.
And I'll make sure to rinse off my shoes, and so there's no smell of lager on me or anything.
All right.
Make a spellcasting check real quick. This is a scrying check. They're trying to figure out who vandalized the restaurant, and their findings are inconclusive. So they know something happened, and they have some understanding of what you guys, who you are that were there. But like, I assume you had masks on, or you weren't just walking in with your faces showing.
Oh, Gaston having them camouflage. They should be fairly.
Oh, that's right. You had the camo going the entire time.
Like unseen for the most part. Yeah, he would have.
Got it.
He would have had them camouflage the entire time. He wouldn't have.
Okay, so
dropped
with
it,
3
yeah.
successes, all this allows them to do is really like peer back in time and look. And so they would see the predator effect here and there when they were watching your camo spell, but they wouldn't have gotten any real information. So that's good to know, except for the fact that one of you has dream magic. That they do know. All right, that answers that question. Anything else you guys are going to do, or just head back to the restaurant?
No, just head back to the restaurant, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so you head back to Insider.
Sorry.
How much are you going to carry?
Well, I was going to take some of that food, but having seen that it's not actually food, I'm not, because I don't know. I mean, as far as I presume I would know, I can't actually cook that stuff, can I?
You have no idea what to do with it.
No, I'm pretty sure you'd need to put it into their 3D food printer and
Yes.
So did you destroy it or just leave it behind?
no, no. Well, I mean, I incapacitated the refrigerator,
Mm-hmm.
damaged their 3D printing, food
Mhm.
maker device, and dribbled most of their lager out over the floor. And
Got it.
then that's it.
Okay.
There's nothing. They had nothing worth taking. So
Unless you guys have something you want to do that night, that'll bring us to the end of the scene.
There's one thing I would like to do.
Sure.
I'd like to panic a little bit and walk around discussing with myself whether or not I'm technically enough of a captain to could be a part of the council of captains. But I probably decide that it's not a good idea to show up and demand a spot.
Well, what you would know about the Council of Captains is all captains are welcome to show up. Anybody can stand there, and you don't have to say anything or be recognized. But if you walk up onto the platform where Beetle is standing, then you'll be recognized and speak. So as long as you stay down and you don't participate, you can just sort of be there. And anybody that's there that has a vessel will be counted as a captain when a vote is taken. So you'll still get to vote even if you don't speak.
Ooh.
I was going to say, can the rest of us attend and watch, or is it just?
Everyone on the rock is available to come. So you don't have to be a captain to be there, or even to discuss. Like if you wanted to say something and you weren't a captain, they'd probably recognize you. You just call up to Beetle, who'll be standing there. It's somewhat informal from what you guys have heard, but since you guys haven't been here a decade, probably none of you have seen one.
When Robert's having his self pep talk, is he doing it in the kitchen, or did he step out to self talk?
It's probably on the floor in the bar.
So if
So everybody,
Roxy,
yeah, he's walking around talking to himself.
if she hears him, she would like fall in step with him and like be like the pep talker. Like, come on, you can do it. Of course you're a captain. You fought the
I am.
fights and you drove the ships, right?
Yeah, and I have a ship, right? And it even has
Yes.
guns. Yeah, and
And you
I can fly
captain
it.
Yes,
Yeah. You're right. I am
you
a
should
captain.
be there.
I should be,
Yes,
yeah.
Mr. Bobbins.
Thank
You
you.
guys get
Thank you, Rob.
bobbins good and fired up.
That's right. And there might even be an exchange of a couple drinks too, like, courage, liquid courage.
Mm-hmm. Always makes every situation better.
That's right.
Okay, I'm going to end recording for the first scene.